Learn with Peppa Pig. George and the Dinobot. George's best toy was Mr Dinosaur. But one day, Mr Dinosaur's tail broke in half. Mommy and Daddy Pig searched everywhere, but they could not find the missing piece.
Oh no!
George was very upset.
You can look after Teddy if you like,
said Peppa helpfully.
No,
said George miserably. Peppa found a brochure about a place called Dinosaur Castle.
Wow. A trip there would make George feel better,
she said. It's worth a try, said Mummy Pig. George stared around the castle's spectacular hall. He gasps,
Dinosaurs!
The most amazing feature of Dinosaur Castle was a mechanical creature called Dinobot. It had a big button on its stomach. When George switched it on, Dinobot wriggled its arms and legs, then it blasted out an awful growling noise. Poor George was scared when he heard it.
Calm down, George, said Peppa. She made Dinobot pause. See, Dinobot is not real.
No, shouted George. He bustled up to Dinobot and pushed the button. George giggled. He bared his teeth and growled back at Dinobot. He was not scared now. Daddy Pig said that Peppa and George could each choose a toy to take home. Peppa searched the shop and chose a little bear. George chose a toy Dinobot. George played with Dinobot all afternoon. At bath time, George wanted to put Dinobot in the water. Careful, George, said Mummy Pig. Dinobot will stop working if he gets wet. He's not waterproof like Mr Dinosaur. George was disappointed. Poor George. Later that night, Peppa and George were fast asleep, but suddenly they heard a loud noise. It was Dinobot. He was growling and twitching all by himself. Something was wrong with his batteries.
Oh no!
I think I'll take Dinobot to have a snooze somewhere else, said Daddy Pig. Early next morning, George felt even worse. Now both of his dinosaurs were broken. But while they were playing outdoors, Peppa spotted something green under a bush. What could this be? She asked. She returned clutching the original Mr. Dinosaur's tail. Wonderful, declared Mummy Pig. It shouldn't be difficult to repair him. Daddy Pig fixed the tail with a quick flick of his wrist.
Hooray!
Yelled George joyfully. He gave Mr. Dinosaur a hug and a squeeze. The original Mr. Dinosaur was the best toy in the world. The end. Read it yourself with Peppa Pig playing football. Peppa Pig and Susie Sheep are playing tennis.
To you, Peppa,
says Susie.
To you, Susie,
says Peppa. George wants to play tennis too.
You can't play tennis, George, says Peppa. But you can be the ball boy. You have to get the ball for me and Susie.
Peppa and Susie love playing tennis.
Ball boy, says Peppa.
George has to get the ball, so he runs and runs. George does not love tennis. Peppa's friends are here. They want to play too.
We can play football,
says Danny Dog.
Hooray!
Everyone cheers. Everyone loves football. The friends get into teams. They have a boys' team and a girls' team. Pedro Pony is in goal for the boys, and Rebecca Rabbit is in goal for the girls. Richard Rabbit gets the ball. He runs and runs. He kicks the ball past Peppa and Susie Sheep.
Wow.
Then Richard kicks the ball past Rebecca and into the net.
Go!
Says Danny Dog.
Hooray!
Cheered the boys. Rebecca Rabbit gets the ball. She runs past Pedro Pony. Next, she throws the ball into the net.
Go to me,
says Rebecca.
It's not fair,
Says Pedro.
Rebecca does not get a goal,
Says Danny.
You can't throw the ball in.
Daddy Pig is here. I will help you, he says. The next team to get a goal will be the winners. Richard Rabbit has the ball. He runs and runs. Then he kicks it into Pedro's net.
Go! The boys win!
Cheers, Danny Dog.
It's not fair,
Says Peppa. But the ball went into the boys' own net, says Daddy. So it's an own goal. The girls cheer.
Hooray! It is fair,
Says Peppa.
we win.
Everyone loves football. The end. Read it yourself with Peppa Pig. Camping trip. Peppa, George, Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig are going on holiday.
Look,
Says Peppa.
here's Daddy.
Hooray, says Mummy. And look, he has a camper van. They all jump in the camper van. Off we go, says Daddy.
We're going on a holiday,
Sings Peppa.
we are going on a holiday in a camper van.
But Daddy Pig is lost. Along comes Grandad Dog.
Can you help us?
Asks Peppa.
We are lost.
Have you looked at your sat-nav? Asked Grandad Dog. What is a sat-nav? Asked Daddy Pig. A sat-nav helps you find your way, says Grandad Dog.
Wow.
He looks in the camper van and finds a sat-nav for Daddy. The sat-nav tells Daddy the way to go.
We're going on a holiday,
Sings Peppa.
we're going on a holiday in a camper van.
But the camper van is out of oil. Daddy Pig looks for the engine, but he cannot find it. Along comes Mummy Sheep.
Can you help us?
Asked Peppa.
We cannot find our engine.
Mummy Sheep finds the engine in the back of the camper van. Daddy Pig puts oil in the engine and off they go. Look, says Mummy Pig. We are here.
Hooray!
Says Peppa. Time for bed, says Mummy Pig.
But what about our beds?
Asked Peppa.
Our beds are back at home.
Just look here, Daddy Pig tells Peppa, and he presses a big button. Out comes a big bed for Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig.
Wow!
Daddy Pig presses a little button. And here are your beds, he says. This time, 2 little beds come out for Peppa and George. George and Peppa jump into the little beds.
I like this camper van,
Says Peppa.
it is just like home.
Good night, says the sat-nav.
Good night.
Says Peppa. The end. Peppa to the rescue. Peppa and George are at the fire station.
Hello, Peppa and George.
Says Miss Rabbit. Sometimes Mummy Pig helps at the fire station.
Wow!
When there is an emergency, I slide down this pole, Mummy Pig says.
Wow!
Can we get in the fire engine, Mummy?
Asks Peppa. Yes, but be careful, says Mummy Pig. Miss Rabbit's phone rings. There's an emergency at Granny and Grandpa Pig's house.
Buckle up, Peppa and George,
Cries Mummy Pig. It's time to go. The fire engine rushes to Granny and Grandpa Pig's house. Police Officer Panda is already there. What's the emergency? Asks Mummy Pig.
Grandpa Pig's model aeroplane is stuck on the roof,
Says Granny Pig. Can you climb up the ladder and fetch it? Asks Police Officer Panda.
Oh no!
Granny Pig frowns.
The ladder isn't tall enough to reach the aeroplane.
Peppa has an idea.
Use the hose instead.
Mummy Pig squirts a jet of water up at the roof. It pushes the aeroplane safely down to the ground.
Wow!
Hooray!
Shouts Grandpa Pig.
Peppa to the rescue.
The end. Peppa Pig, Rebecca Rabbit. This is Peppa's friend, Rebecca Rabbit. Rebecca is very good at swimming,
Wow!
Paddle your arms
says Rebecca.
and kick your legs.
Says Peppa. Rebecca's house is called a burrow. It is underground,
Where are your stairs?
asks Peppa.
We don't have stairs.
Says Rebecca.
We have tunnels instead.
Wow!
Rebecca has a big family. There's her mummy, her daddy, and her little brother Richard,
And here are the baby twins.
says Rebecca. Peppa nods.
Hello, Robbie and Rosie.
Rebecca and Peppa go to the petting farm together. They like to stroke the tiny animals,
Look at their cute little faces.
cries Rebecca.
And their fluffy little bodies.
Says Peppa. Peppa has lots of fun with her friend Rebecca. Sometimes she pretends to be a rabbit too. All she has to do is twitch her nose and squeak. Peppa loves Rebecca Rabbit. Everyone loves Rebecca Rabbit. The Peppa Pig, Freddy Fox. This is Peppa's friend, Freddy Fox. Freddy likes playing pretend.
Wow!
I'm a policeman, says Freddy, and you're under arrest. Snorts Peppa. What a funny game. Freddy is very musical. He can play the triangle. I can play the guitar, says Peppa. Let's play together, says Madame Gazelle. Freddy is very good at smelling. He has a super nose. What do I smell of, Freddy? Freddy sniffs. Flowers and muddy puddles. Peppa and Freddy like going to new places. They even have fun at the supermarket. It's a fruit day, says Miss Rabbit. Who would like a smoothie? Me, please, shouts Freddy. And Peppa. Peppa has lots of fun with her friend Freddy. Inside Mr Fox's van, there is a treat for Freddy. And one for his good friend Peppa.
Hooray!
Peppa loves Freddy Fox. Everyone loves Freddy Fox. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Royal Party. Peppa and her family were very excited when Mr Zebra, the postman, arrived with a special letter. This is for you, Mummy Pig, he said. It has a crown on it. I think it must be from the Queen.
Wow.
Mummy Pig opened the envelope very carefully.
What does it say?
Cried Peppa. It's an invitation, said Mummy Pig. The Queen is giving me an award for the book I wrote.
Wow.
She has invited us and her friends to her Platinum Jubilee garden party.
Hooray!
Oh, goody, said Peppa. What's a Platinum Jubilee party?
It's a special party to celebrate the Queen having been Queen for 70 years, explained Daddy Pig.
Wow, gasped Peppa. She must be nearly as old as you, Daddy.
Daddy Pig chuckled. Almost, he said. Peppa phoned her friends to invite them to the Queen's party.
There will be lots of guests,
Peppa told Rebecca Rabbit.
Wow.
I'll ask my mummy to pack a giant picnic,
said Rebecca.
The Queen has a big garden, Peppa told Susie Sheep. We should take some games to play. Yippee! cried Susie. I'll do that. What should I wear?
asked Danny Dog.
Your smartest clothes, said Peppa, and bring boots for jumping in puddles. I know just what to pack,
said Freddy Fox. The Queen sent a big red bus to take everyone to the palace. Are you sure we need all these bags? asked Danny Pig. You can't turn up to a royal party without bringing anything, said Mummy Pig. That'd be very rude. Oh, very true, said Daddy Pig. We wouldn't want to be rude. Peppa and her friends made up a song on their way to the palace. They sang it very loudly.
It's the royal party today, let's sing all the way. It's the royal party today, hip hip hooray.
As the bus got closer to the palace, there were lots of people setting up their own garden parties for the Queen's Jubilee. Peppa and her friends tried to do special little royal waves. Lots of people are celebrating with the Queen today, said Daddy Pig.
When they arrived at the palace, everyone was very excited.
I think there will be a giant chocolate fountain,
whispered Susie.
70 giant chocolate fountains, said Freddy. I think she will have an enormous gold cake,
whispered Peppa.
70 enormous gold cakes, said Freddy.
The doors opened and they were led out to the palace gardens. They were surprised to see no food or drinks or games.
Hello there,
said the Queen. Thank you for coming. I'm afraid we had a slight hiccup.
Sorry to hear you have hiccups, Your Majesty, said Peppa.
No, I'm quite all right, replied the Queen. It's my party planner. He got the date muddled up. He thought the Jubilee was tomorrow, so we cannot have my party today.
Oh no!
Everyone gasped.
But you must have your party, Your Majesty, said Peppa.
Must I? asked the Queen.
Oh yes, said Peppa. The whole country is waiting to celebrate with you.
I'm not sure I can, said the Queen. I don't have any party things.
We've brought some with us. What do you need?
asked Peppa. That's very kind, but we need an awful lot, said the Queen. Food for all the guests.
My mummy sent this picnic for everyone,
said Rebecca, unpacking a giant picnic with plates of cakes, sandwiches and jellies.
My dad packed these teapots and chairs, said Freddy. They're made of real fake gold.
This picnic looks wonderful, said the Queen, but what will we do other than eat and drink? I don't have any games.
I have these, Your Majesty,
said Susie, who had 3 big boxes of garden games.
Wow.
Will they be okay?
What fun, said the Queen. Yes, they will do quite nicely. Peppa and her friends pulled out balloons, bunting, and even a music box from their bags. Soon the garden was transformed into a royal party fit for a queen. How extraordinary, said the Queen. You have brought everything one needs for a royal party. You could say we pulled it out of the bag, ma'am, said Daddy Pig. When the other guests started to arrive, they were very impressed. It looks wonderful, they said. This is the best Jubilee ever. The Queen presented Mummy Pig with her award. Then everyone tucked into the picnic. But as they finished eating... Oh no, gasped the Queen. I believe it's raining. Whatever shall we do?
Don't worry, said Peppa. I've got an idea.
Peppa whipped out a pair of boots with a crown on them and pointed at a muddy puddle.
I brought a spare pair of boots for you, Your Majesty.
How delightful, Peppa, said the Queen. I dare say a royal party is not a royal party without some muddy puddle jumping.
3 cheers for the Queen! And Peppa! Everyone cried.
That evening, everyone sat down to watch the Queen make a speech. I would like to thank Peppa Pig, said the Queen. Without her help, my Platinum Jubilee would not have gone ahead. I am giving her the Queen's Award for Royal Party Planning. One does love a royal party, said Mummy Pig. Everyone loves a royal party. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Castle Adventure. Peppa and George are going to visit a castle today. Maybe we'll see a dragon, says Daddy Pig. Arr, says George. George likes dragons. Only a pretend dragon, says Peppa. Dragons are not really real. Daddy Pig parks a car in the car park. Welcome to the castle tour, says Miss Rabbit. Cars are parked at the owner's risk. What does that mean? Asks Peppa. Nothing, snorts Daddy Pig. They always say that in car parks. Mr. Rabbit comes out of the castle. He is dressed in armour like a knight. The castle tour starts here, he says. Let's fire the cannon. A cannonball shoots out of the cannon. It flies all the way down to the car park. Boom, boom, giggles George. This is where the king and queen would sit, says Mr. Rabbit. It's the throne room. George can be king and I can be queen, decides Peppa. May I carry on with the tour, your majesties? Asks Mr. Rabbit. Yes, giggles Peppa, you may. Mr. Rabbit opens the door to a secret passageway. It leads to the dining hall. Look at all the food, gasped Daddy Pig. It's a real banquet, says Mummy Pig. Peppa picks up a bread roll. Ugh. The food is made of plastic. Don't worry, says Miss Rabbit. Your real banquet is coming. Miss Rabbit brings in 4 little boxes. Here we are, she cries. Ye olde cheese sandwich with Jester's pickle. It's a banquet in a box, cheers Peppa. And now, says Mr. Rabbit, it's time to meet the dragon. Peppa and George climb to the top of the castle. A huge dragon stomps towards them, with Miss Rabbit waving from the top. The dragon is a robot. The robot dragon marches all the way up to the castle. It's nearly crushed our car, splutters Daddy Pig. Cars are parked at the owner's risk, Miss Rabbit reminds them. Cheers George. He loves castles. Everyone loves castles. The end. The story of Prince George. Daddy Pig is saying good night to Peppa and George. Just one more dance, chuckles Daddy Pig. It's nearly bedtime. It is bedtime, Daddy Pig, says Mummy Pig. They are almost asleep, says Daddy Pig. Why don't I put Peppa and George to bed, says Mummy Pig. Can we have a bedtime story first, says Peppa. Okay, says Mummy Pig, but only if you promise to go straight to sleep afterwards. We promise, cries Peppa. Story, giggles George. Once upon a time, Mummy Pig begins, there was a fairy tale castle. castle was home to a brave prince called George and a clever princess called Pip. Prince George and Princess Peppa spent their days exploring the castle. They even had a cook who made them jellies, cookies and fairy cakes with cherries on top. Prince George and Princess Peppa always ate everything. When they finished exploring and eating, Prince George and Princess Peppa summoned the Royal Wizard. The wizard wore a cloak covered in stars. He put on big magic shows, and his tricks never went wrong, ever. Everybody loved living in the fairy tale castle until one day a big scary dragon arrived. Princess Peppa squealed. Her royal friends ran as fast as their legs could carry them. Only Prince George stayed to face the dragon. Princess Peppa peered out of the castle window. The dragon was very big and scary. She hoped it wouldn't eat Prince George. Brave Prince George climbed on his horse and rode right up to the dragon. "Roar," said the dragon. "Roar," said George. Suddenly Prince George giggled. The dragon wasn't scary. It was just lonely.
Dinosaur!
cried George. Princess Peppa came out of the castle and Prince George invited the dragon to a picnic. The royal cook made a feast. The royal wizard put on a special magic show. Soon everybody in the kingdom wanted to meet the dragon. Princess Peppa and Prince George held a big party and the dragon was the guest of honour. His spines popped lots of balloons, but nobody minded. The dragon liked the prince and the princess so much, he decided to be their royal pet. Prince George led a parade to celebrate. Everybody cheered. "Hooray for the dragon! Hooray for Princess Peppa! Hooray for Prince George the Brave! Hooray!" "The end," cries Peppa.
Dinosaur!
Snorts George. Daddy Pig comes in to check on them. Mummy Pig has spent so long telling them the story that she's fallen asleep. Good night, Mummy Pig. Good night, Princess Peppa. Good night, Prince George. The end. Princess Peppa. It is bedtime for Peppa and George. Mummy Pig tucks him in and turns out the light. "Good night, little piggies," she whispers. Downstairs, Granny and Grandpa Pig arrive to have dinner with Mummy and Daddy Pig. They all sit down to eat, but suddenly they hear noises coming from upstairs. "Is that Peppa and George?" asked Grandpa Pig. Looks like the little piggies aren't sleeping after all. Mummy Pig goes upstairs to check on Peppa and George. They are wide awake. "Peppa, George, quickly now, hop into bed," says Mummy Pig. "You're making lots of noise and it's too late for you to be up." "We aren't sleepy yet," says Peppa. "Oh no." "Will you tell us a story?" asked Peppa. "We promised to go to sleep after a story." All right, says Mummy Pig. Once upon a time, there was a princess. Peppa jumps in. Oh yes, says Mummy Pig. Once upon a time there was a courageous princess named Peppa.
Wow.
She lived in a castle with Sir George, the brave knight. And the princess and the knight had a cook who made the most delicious food ever, adds Peppa. Of course, says Mummy Pig. She made cupcakes and cookies. Cherry jelly tower, says Peppa. That was the princess's favourite food. The princess and the knight invited their friend Pedro Pony and they ate all the yummy desserts. Yes, said Mummy Pig. And afterward everyone was so full they fell right asleep. The end. Then they woke up, cries Peppa, and they invited a wizard to the castle. A wizard? asked Mummy Pig. Yes, says Peppa. And he did a big magic show, but then all of a sudden, a big green dragon came to the castle. Peppa continues. Laughs George. Arr! Oh no, says Mummy Pig, how scary. The dragon wasn't scary, says Peppa. He was just very, very hungry. So the king came and ordered the cook to make a picnic, says Peppa. He did? Mummy Pig asks with a yawn. Yes, says Peppa. The cook, the wizard, the princess, the knight, the king, Pedro Pony and the dragon sat down to a big feast. And then they went to sleep, murmurs Mummy Pig as her head drops to one side. No, says Peppa. They had a party. The princess arrived at the party in a beautiful carriage, says Peppa.
Wow.
She came with her friend Susie Sheep. Sir George pulled the carriage with his horse. All of their friends came to the castle to dance. There was Rebecca Rabbit and Pedro Pony and Danny Dog. Downstairs, Daddy Pig, Granny Pig and Grandpa Pig are wondering what is taking Mummy Pig so long. Maybe we should see what's going on upstairs, says Daddy Pig. I think I hear snoring, says Granny Pig. Mummy Pig must have finally gotten Peppa and George to fall asleep. But Peppa and George are not snoring. Mummy Pig is. It looks like Princess Peppa is the best at telling bedtime stories, says Daddy Pig. The end. Peppa Pig, Princess Peppa and the Royal Ball. Princess Peppa is excited for her family is having a ball at the castle tonight. Queen Mummy Pig and King Daddy Pig need help getting ready. There is so much to do before the party. Can I invite my friends to the ball? asked Princess Peppa. Of course, says Queen Mummy. Princess Peppa and Prince George go to the village. Princess Peppa invites her friends to the ball.
Hooray!
Hooray! They cheer. Everyone can come. Back at the castle, Grandpa Wizard is getting the ballroom ready.
Wow!
Princess Peppa wants to help. Grandpa Wizard uses his magic to make decorations appear from Princess Peppa's broom. Oh no! Some of the candles went out. Princess Peppa asks for help from a friendly dragon. Next, Princess Peppa helps King Daddy choose flowers for the table. They pick the best ones from the royal garden. Princess Peppa brings the flowers inside. "Thank you, Peppa. These are very pretty," says Queen Mummy. "Why don't you check on the desserts?" she asks Princess Peppa. Peppa goes to the kitchen. "What would you like to try?" the royal baker asks. "Everything, please," says Peppa says. This is the best job so far. The ballroom is ready. The food is ready. Everything is ready except Princess Peppa. She goes up to her room to change for the party. Ring! It is the doorbell. The guests are here. Princess Peppa welcomes them to her royal ball. A trumpet plays. Prince George arrives in the ballroom. Queen Mummy and King Daddy follow. Now the royal ball can begin.
Wow.
Everyone sings and dances along to the music. They eat yummy cakes and cookies. Thank you for making the royal ball so special, Princess Peppa, Queen Mummy says. And so yummy, King Daddy says. They all danced happily ever after. Peppa Pig, safety first. Today is a very fun day at Peppa's school. The police are visiting.
Wow.
They will teach us about safety, says Madame Gazelle.
Hooray!
The students go outside to wait for the police to arrive. The children make noises like a police siren. Nina, Nina, says Freddy Fox. They hear a real siren. A police car arrives. I am Police Officer Squirrel, says one police officer. And I am Police Officer Panda, says the other. The officers are here to teach the children about bike safety. Peppa and her friends ride all over the schoolyard. Well done, says Officer Panda. Next, the children practice ringing their bells and honking their horns. Peppa is good at ringing her bell, but Pedro Pony is the loudest of all. It is time to practice braking. Officer Panda goes to the bottom of the hill. Peppa and her friends race down the hill. At the bottom, they use their brakes to stop. Very good, everyone, says Officer Panda. Madame Gazelle rides down the hill next. Whee! She cheers. She rings her bell and uses her brakes. Well done, says Officer Panda. Peppa and her friends clap. The children learn it is a police officer's job to help others and keep them safe. Peppa Pig thinks being a police officer sounds very important. Freddy Fox does too. I want to be a police officer, says Freddy Fox. I like blowing whistles. There is more to being a police officer than blowing whistles, says Officer Panda. We must always keep our eyes and ears open, says Officer Panda. Then he walks into a tree. Oh, he says, who put that tree there? I will make a note, says Officer Squirrel.
dangerous trees, she says as she writes. A police officer's work is never done. It is time to say goodbye. Peppa and her friends thank the officers for visiting. Bye-bye, everyone says. Officer Squirrel and Officer Panda drive their police car back to the station. This time, they leave the siren off. They are not in a hurry. Peppa learned a lot today. Maybe when she grows up, she will help keep others safe too. The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.